Hello guys, today we'll be seeing how to create what Vlan, specifically just to have what different subnets, just to reduce what traffic on our network. So let's get digging. So what I'll be doing is I'll be configuring DHCP for HVLAN as well. So we'll use the same DHCP on switch 1 to assign IP address on switch 2 pieces as well, and which will affect the VLAN respectively. Okay, then we'll be looking at how to configure the VTP protocol so that the same database will be sent to switch 2. So let's get digging. So this console interface, so conf t host name switch 1. Okay, now here let me create my VLANs, then we'll create our DHCP because my VLANs interface I need to assign IP as well. So creating VLAN is just VLAN, then the VLAN number. Okay, so I have only 2, I have 10 and then 20. So I'll bring 10. Now question mark, I can give it a name. Okay, so let me bring name. Okay, so let me put here sales. All right, let me exit. Sorry for the caps. Then let me create the second one, which is 20. The name, so name, I can name this marketing. Nice. So exit. So there's a command to run. Okay, if you want to see the VLANs, show VLAN brief. Okay, so as you can see, I've created my VLAN, right? Now by default all the interfaces are part of VLAN 1. Okay, so we normally don't create VLAN 1, neither 2. So it's best you start from what 10, 20 to make it simple, whichever number you want to use from 10 going. So by default all the interfaces are part of what VLAN 1. What I have to do is assign what the ports to each VLAN. Which port am I assigning? So what I have to do here is I have to assign what interfaces to my VLAN. Now it's based on what which interface is connected to what the VLAN. I have interface 1 and 2 connected to VLAN 10, and I have 3 and 4 connected to what VLAN 20, right? So what I have to do here is assign my interface. So before assigning the interface, I have to be in that particular interface. So I have to be in the configuration mode. Okay, now the interfaces, there are 2. So in this case I want to assign the 2 at once. So interface range, okay, gigabit 1 sorry 1/0/122. Okay, so it tells me I'm in the interface in a range. So here now I have to type my command switch port mode access. We have to grant access to the interface. So what are we giving access to? So switch access VLAN. Okay, So when you bring question mark now, what VLAN number are we giving? So this is 10. So I'm done assigning what? Those two ports to what? VLAN 10. So let's do the same for the other ports. So I can use the arrow key to call back my command. Okay. So let me clean this. That is 3, 2, 4. Switch port mode access. Switch access VLAN 20. Okay. So let me exit so we can check. So do show VLAN brief. All right. So as you can see, I have assigned ports. In the previous command, you can see there was no port assigned. So as you can see, I have assigned ports now. I have them in their various ports. So the next thing is to assign IP address to my VLAN, because my VLANs will be assigning IP address to my PCs based on what the VLANs. So interface VLAN 10. Okay. So this is telling me my VLAN 10 status is up now. So IP address, right? So the IP address of VLAN 10 will be in this network, and the IP address of VLAN 20 will be in this very network. So so that will be 192.168.0.254. I told you I like giving my last IPs to devices. Here I don't have a router. Maybe in the future I'll be adding a router. So let me just put here 253. So it's /24. That's 255.255.255. 255.0. Okay. So I have to assign IP address to my VLAN 20 as well. So 20 also have IP address 192.168.0.2. Oh no, this one is .1.253. Okay, that one too is /24, so 255.255.255.0. Now it could be any IP, but I like using what my last IP. That is how I've maintained what the same IP, but this is a different what network. It doesn't matter which IP I use. I can change the IP address, which is here, which is 252, right? It's not because I want it. All right, okay. Now this IP on VLAN 10 and VLAN 20, okay, don't have to be the same, right? It can be different, which will still work. But just mind you, this is a different network. 192.168.1.253, 192.168.0.253. You see, there are two different networks. The most important thing is make sure this is in a different network and then this is in a different network, because you've created what VLANs. You are actually separating what your traffic. That's the most important thing. Okay, so let me remember this. This is 50. Okay, let me press enter. Then okay, now I've assigned my IP. So do show run. Let's see our system configuration. So you can see I've assigned IP address to my interface and as well this. So the next thing is to configure my DHCP based on my VLANs, right? So IP DHCP, I need to exclude. Okay, remember I need to exclude, so I can exclude 192.168.0 dot, let's say 240 192.168.0.254. Okay, now I can exclude the same IP range, just change the what, the 0 to 1, because that's a different network. Good. So since I've exclude, now the next thing is to create my DHCP pool for each VLAN. So IP DHCP pool. So this time around, my pool name, I'm going to name it based on my what, VLAN, because I don't want to get confused. So VLAN. So here I don't have a router, I don't have a DNS server, so I only go straight to what, the network. I'll go straight to the network, just to tell the DHCP server to give out this particular network, okay, to the client. 0.0.255.255.255.0. So exit. So to create the second pool for VLAN 20, so pool VLAN 20. So same network 192.168, sorry, dot 1.0.255.5.0. Okay, you can exit, and then let's check if so you can see now my PC1 have received 192.168.0.1. It doesn't have a what, default gateway, because I didn't provide that information. It doesn't have a DNS, I didn't provide that information as well. So let me check here. Let me check. Okay, so we have 192.168.1.1. Good. So our VLAN DHCPs are working as needed. Okay, nice. If you check here, though, here is not going to work for now, because we don't have any VLAN created. We don't have any connection between switch 1 to switch 2. Okay, so now let's see if we can ping our network 192.168.0.2. Yes, so I'm able to ping 0.2. No, 1.1 is never going to work. Never going to work, because one, this one is on a different network. Two, it's on another VLAN too, so it's not going to work. It's not going to work. No way. No way. As you can see, request timeout. It's not going to work for us. All right. So the next thing is to see how best VLAN 10 here and VLAN 20 here can communicate with VLAN 10 on switch 1 and VLAN 20 can communicate on switch 2. So I want to see how best my database, that's the sales and marketing, can be copied or replicate on switch 2, so that they can be exchanging what, information. So what I'll do here is I have to use a protocol called VTP, right? So that is what I have to use, and I have to configure that so that these switches can send VLAN information, okay, to each other. But one have to be the server, that will be the switch 1, because that is why I created what, my VLANs, and then the other one will be what? The client. Let's see how best we can send VLAN information to what? Switch 2. So switch 1 obviously is going to be what? My server. Now by default, when it comes to VTP, every switch is a server by default. So we'll be looking at that when I start my configuration. So VTP question mark. So if I'm part of a domain, I'll put that there. I'll be adding all this information for us to see: domain, mode, password. Yes, for my VTP is very important, and then the version 2 is very important, and then the mode. That is where to select which one is server or client. Okay, first let me deal with the domain. So domain, you see word, so I have to provide my domain. So I can bring here cisco.com. That's my domain. Okay, good. So VTP mode, good. So when I bring question mark, you see I have client, I have server, I have what? Transparent. Now, the difference between the two: server is the one you'll be configuring your VLAN on, and then the server will be the one forwarding what? The database to the client. The client, you don't do anything on it, like you don't create the VLAN on the client, but will be receiving what? VLAN database from the server. Transparent doesn't keep any VLAN information. It only allows the information to pass through it to the client. Okay, that is if you want to configure transparent. But for these two, they actually make sure they keep what? The database. So we have the server serving what? The client. So in this mode, let's go to server. So as I told you, device mode already what? VTP server, which is, let's check. So password, very important. So let me put my password. So keep it simple. This is practical purpose, so I'm keeping it simple. So I'll just put here Cisco 1. Okay, then VTP, the next thing is version. So we have version 1 and 2, so we're going for version 2. So we are done with VTP. Now the next thing is trunking. To send information within VLAN, you need to create what you call trunk ports between these two. So you have this port here will be a trunk port, and this one will be a trunk port. So we have to set that on switch 1. So that's interface gigabit 1/0/24. Yeah, let me cross check that so that we'll make sure we are on. Okay, yes, 24. So let's go on. So here I have to type switch port access. Okay, good. So what access are we giving to? Mode trunk. Okay, so since we are done with this, so I can save my configuration. Let me get to switch 2. So for this as well, I have to change, sorry, I have to change the name. So host name, I have to configure my trunk port and then my VTP. So interface G1/0/24 as usual. Then switch port mode access. So switch mode trunk. Okay. Do show Vlan brief. So you can see we don't have any information here, right? So, okay, domain cisco.com. Okay, so VTP mode. Now, this is a client, so I have to bring client. All right, so VTP password. So Cisco 1. So let's see. For client, I don't think you need to set the version. Okay, so VTP version 2. Let's see. Okay, you see, cannot modify version in what VTP client. So for the version for the client, you just leave it because it will already pick from the server itself. So since I'm done with this, let me check my VLAN again. Show VLAN brief. Okay, so you can see now I have my sales and then my marketing VLAN forwarded to me from the what server. You can see initially we don't have this information, but the only thing VTP cannot do is assign your port for you. So for that one, you have to assign the port yourself. So from here, I have to assign my port. So it's just the same port range. I connected my end devices on switch 2. I can change the port though, which will still work, but I want to keep it simple. That is why I maintain it as port 124. So range gigabit 1/0/122. So switch port mode access switch access VLAN 10. So exit interface range again because it's 2 ports. So gigabit 1/0/ that's 324. So switch port mode access switch access VLAN 20. So let me exit. So let me check my VLAN again. So you can see the port assigned respectively. So now let's check from the clients. Oh, so you can see it as what receive IP as well. You see, you can see it as receive what IP from switch 1. Let's check from here. Exactly, it has received IP. Let's check this as well. Okay, this is not ready yet, so let's give it some time to be ready. So let's try and ping within the VLANs. So VLAN 10 and VLAN 10 here. So let me try and ping from this VLAN 192.168.0.1. So you can see I'm able to ping from switch 1 to sorry, from switch 2 to switch 1, the same network. So let me check on VLAN 20. Okay, that one too is ready. So VLAN 22, it has received IP. So let's ping VLAN 20 on switch 1. So 192.168.1.1. Good. So you can have .2, 2 is responding respectively. .3, 2 respond. Now this is how you configure what? VLAN, okay, on your switch. So guys, I hope you have, okay, this is how you configure what? VLAN from switch 1 to what? Switch 2. So you can ping from VLAN 20 on switch 2 to what? Switch 1, vice versa. But you can ping from VLAN 20 to VLAN 10, even though they are on the same switch or they are on different switch. You can never ping them because they are using what? Different network, and they are also on different what? VLAN. Even if you should give it the same IP, it will not respond to it. Okay, so let's try that. This is VLAN 10. Let me try and then, okay, now guys, this is how to configure what? VLAN. Okay, now we are able to ping from VLAN 20 to VLAN 20 on switch 1, VLAN 10, and then VLAN 10 on switch 1. But this is it. Within switch 1, even though you've created what? 2 different VLAN, you cannot ping VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 because they are on different what? Network. Now, even if you should give them the same network, right? Let's try something here. So this is 192.168.0 network. So this PC is having .0.1, .0.2, okay, on switch 1. So let's try and change PC3's IP to this within this network, so that we'll see if we can be able to ping another VLAN even though it's the same network. Okay, so let's try that. So you can see it's using 192.168.1.1. Let me put here 192.168.0. Let's say 5, right? Good. So I've just assigned. So let's try and ping within that particular what? Network. So you can see you can ping to another VLAN even though it's what? The same what? Network range, right? So let me set it back to my VLAN 20 DHCP back. Okay, you cannot ping another VLAN even though it's what? The same what? Network. Now if we want to ping within VLANs, let's say VLAN 10 pinging VLAN 20, VLAN here, vice versa, what we have to do is, this is where you need what you call a router. You need a router so that you can link these two networks for you. But if you are using the same network on all the devices but you've created a VLAN, that one you can use what? A router, because router cannot route the same what? Network. So not router only route what? Different network. So here what we have to do is enable routing on the switch. you can see I have a layer 3 switch. This is a layer 3 switch or multi-layer switch. Okay, this is a layer 3 switch. So I can enable what? Routing here so that we can be able to what? Ping within what? The VLANs. So as we said formally, okay. So let me try that again from here. Okay. So we are not able to ping 192.168.0.1. Okay, we are not able to ping. So we'll see how to make VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 to what? Communicate. So we have to enable routing on the switch here, and then mind you, when you enable routing for this PC to move outside the network, it needs what we call the what default gateway, right? Okay, we'll see how to make VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 to communicate. Now, for that to happen, let's look at PC 1. The only information it has from the DHCP server is the IP address. Does it have information about default gateway? Default gateway is necessary because this is a different network, this is a different network. For it to move out of the network, it need what? A default gateway. So we have to add that information in the DNS what? Record on the server. So let me enable the routing because this is a layer 3 switch or multi switch conf t. Okay, so IP question mark. So you have to enable what? Routing. Okay, so routing, anything else? So done. So the next thing is to make sure my update my DHCP record on the server. What I have to do first is do show run. Okay, so do show run and will show me my DHCP pool that I've created. So I have to be in the same pool. Okay, I don't have to create another pool. I have to be in the same pool and then update this information. So I have to copy this. That is why it's good when you are the administrator, you can uh, edit this information. Okay, so I'm in the same pool. Now my default gateway for VLAN 10 will be this IP because I don't have a router. I'm using a layer 3 switch. So this switch is able to route. Now, which interface is facing my VLAN 10 is this and is on my what? 192.168.0 network. So I have to copy this IP as well. So default. So if I'm supposed to have what? A router, then I can provide the router's what? IP. But for now I don't have a router. I'm only using what? The switch to route. So I have to provide that VLAN 10 what? Interface IP in the information. Okay. So I'm done with this. So the next thing is for me to copy the information for VLAN 20. I have to update this DHCP pool as well. Okay, so exit. So likewise, I have to use this VLAN 20 interface IP. So I have to add that here as my default gateway. All right. Since I'm done with these informations, so let me refresh this because it's going to take some time for them to receive such information. Let me refresh this. Good. So let me refresh this. Okay, good. So now let me try and ping uh let me try and ping the IP address again. Okay. So I'm able to ping the IP address. Formerly, I was not able to ping the other network. So let's try this again. Okay. So guys, as you can see, this is how to configure VLAN 10, VLAN 20. Okay. And then to make sure VLAN 10, VLAN 20 is able to what? Communicate within uh, the network. So guys, like my channel, subscribe. I'll be adding more videos as we move on. See you next time. You can leave a comment down there. If you don't like something, just tell me. If you like it too, let me know. Okay. See you guys next time.